Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about NIST AI RMF, which is a risk management framework, which was initially published by one of the US-based organization, which is NIST. It's prepared for mid-level managers, senior managers, and C-suite leaders who need to understand this particularly really well enough to direct an AI governance program and brief it to a board or sign off a vendor. So that's why initially this was created. So, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Lata. I'm the head of AI governance at Global AI Certification Council, where we offer AI governance certifications. And I'm also head of AI governance at govern365.ai, which is an AI governance tool. So, these are the things we are going to cover today. Number one, the basics, what NIST AI RMF is and how it's structured. Number two, the business case, what it actually solves and which incidents it prevents. Number three, the scope of NIST AI RMF, which industries it covers, which AI systems fall under it. That is covered in number three. Number four, the audience. Who in our organization must act on it? That's number four. Number five, the timeline and when do you need to actually use it? What's the trigger? That's number five. Number six is about 7 characteristics of trustworthy AI. That's what NIST AI RMF covers. So what are those 7 characteristics? Then number 7, core 4 functions of NIST AI RMF, which is govern, map, measure, and manage. That's also covered in depth. Number 8, the updates of those standards. NIST AI RMF was released in 2023. After that, they have released multiple updates and profiles. So that will be covered in number 8. Number 9, how it relates to other standards or frameworks and regulations such as ISO 42001 and EU AI Act. Number 10, I'm going to finish it off with rapid fire FAQs that you might probably have, and it will help you to understand. Let's go one by one. AI is being deployed faster than any organization can even govern it. So when AI fails, the accountability lands on the deploying organization, not the vendor, which means if you are using ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or any other AI systems from a vendor, it's not the responsibility of the vendor, it's the responsibility of your organization who is deploying that AI system. So the strategic question is no longer whether to use AI. It is how to use it without creating any risk for you, your organization, or people, or even extensively like your supply chain, anything. You need to think about all of that right now. So NIST AI RMF is the framework designed exactly to answer that question. So number one, let's talk about the basics. NIST AI RMF is a voluntary risk management framework for the design, development, deployment, and use of AI systems. It was issued by US National Institute of Standards and Technology. It's a standards body behind even the NIST cybersecurity framework, NIST CSF. So they also designed that. January 2023, NIST AI RMF 1.0 was published in January 2023 and remains the current version of the core framework. It is a voluntary framework, free, open, adopted across 80 jurisdictions and referenced in multiple US state laws like Colorado AI Act and Texas TRAIGA Act as well. So it does not prescribe what to build. Like if you have a question about, hey, I'm planning to build this, does this particular framework solve that? No. It actually structures how to assess and manage the risk of what you're going to build or buy. So number 2 is about what it actually solves or what incidents it can solve. So AI actually covers so many different type of risk, and currently NIST covers 3 categories of risk. So number 1, what are all the harms that it can cause to people, like physical injury or even biased information, psychological harm, discrimination, loss of liberty, economic opportunity, all that comes under harming to people. Then harmful to organizations like reputational damage. Even you would have seen some chatbots providing hallucinated information to people. That's a reputation damage to a brand. So those are included security breach, operation disruption, losing revenue, regulatory action, all comes under harm to an organization. Third one is harm to ecosystems like supply chain failure, financial risk, environmental impact, erosion of public trust. They all come under ecosystem harm. So any wrongful arrests, biased lending, if AI is used in home lending, hallucinated legal cases, they are all part of these kind of harms. And you need to remember that they are not algorithmic flaws. Because many people think, oh, it's probably because of whatever the AI algorithms we use. It's not based on that. It's about the governance failure. It is because no one is accountable for it. No one prepared for it. No one assessed the risk before it is being deployed. It is only because of that. So they are all governance failures. There are 362 documented AI incidents in 2025, which is up 56% year on year. This was released by Stanford AI Index in 2025. And an average global cost of a data breach in 2025 was 4.44 million US dollars. And if they are using any shadow AI, it actually adds up another $500,000 to it, which was released by IBM. If properly applied, I'm talking about NIST AI RMF, if properly applied, you don't have to think about any incident that happened after the deployment. You can even control things even before any deployment happens. So what gets governed in NIST AI RMF? If it is AI, if you're using AI system, any AI system, this framework applies and it covers it. It is intentionally system agnostic and technology neutral, which means whatever AI system you create, in whichever industry you create, whatever technology you create, this framework applies. So here are some of the systems that you can think of that is currently in scope. If you're creating chatbots and copilots that can answer any question, don't think about any industry. It applies to any industry. Then number two, if you're using it for hiring or HR AI, that applies as well. Lending, credit, clinical, medical AI, recommendation engines for like pricing, ranking, personalization, any agentic AI or RAG systems, insurance, finance, underwriting, robotic process automation, manufacturing, oil and gas. Even if you take in inside the departments like marketing, sales, finance, any department inside the business, any predictive analytics, everything is covered under NIST AI RMF. So the framework is indifferent to what your AI does. It requires that you have governed it. That's it. So where the AI framework is being applied today. So currently, a lot of industries are currently using it, from healthcare, financial services, government and defense, human resources, insurance, legal and professional services, educations. They are all using NIST AI RMF. And currently all know that this is a voluntary framework, but because of peer pressure and the procurement requirements from an external vendor, this is slowly becoming mandatory. It is the same framework that can be applied across different industry and also different AI system. That's the main point. So who must act on it? Like, who needs to take care of this particular framework? So these are some of the roles that need to take care of NIST AI RMF. AI builders, scientists, engineers, development teams need to take care of it. Number two, deployers. So even if you are using any third-party AI, if you're deploying it in your workflow or in your system, you need to use this. Number three, AI operators in an infrastructure level or a data governance level. If you're using, you still need to use this. AI evaluators. So if you're someone in internal audit, risk, compliance, or governance team, then you need to use it. Number five, if you are an executive or one of a board member, then you are also accountable for all these AI investment decisions. Then you also need to use this particular framework. Last but not least, all the regulators and the policy frameworks, policy makers also need to use this. And if you are an executive, the last two are very important, because when you're making AI investment decision, you need to understand and set the risk appetite, and also to ensure accountability across the whole AI systems. So this framework only works when all these six roles coordinate with each other. So a lot of people have a misconception that this is only applicable only for AI governance professionals. It is not. All these teams has to work together to get this AI governance being done. So if you build, deploy, audit, or sign off on AI, this framework applies to your role. Number five, when to start using NIST AI RMF. It is even before the systems is being deployed or shipped, not after the incident. So these are some of the trigger moments to begin the implementation of NIST AI RMF. If you have a new AI feature that is planned for release in the next 90 days, use NIST AI RMF. Then vendor onboarding. If you're getting in a new vendor, you need to do it. Number three, customer pressure, which means if your customer is already asking for your AI risk policy to make sure that their company is currently mitigating all the risk, then also you need to start. Number 4, board pressure. If your board is asking for organization AI exposure, then you need to do it. Number 5, regulatory compliance. If your regulator or an auditor is currently asking for it, you need to start using it. Number 6, it's prior AI incidents. Even if you manually do everything right, still we can have some issues. So even if you start having incidents, then you start using NIST AI RMF. So most organization will hit one of these 6 trigger moments in the next year. Number 6, how long does it take to actually implement NIST AI RMF? Because there is no certification involved, like ISO 42001, there is a limit in terms of like when you need to get certified and all that. Because NIST AI RMF is not an enforcement agency, so they do not have any certification, so there is no fixed completion date. But if you want to implement, it can typically take anywhere between 3 to 6 months for a single high priority AI system end to end. Maybe for the first time, but maybe second time you can decrease. So to cover policy authorship, like you need to write policy, you need to assign the right people to the right roles, you need to apply all the 4 functions of NIST AI RMF. Remember, I'm going to talk about in the next few slides: govern, map, manage, and also maintain, all of that. So that those all 4 things also need to be done, and that would take at least like 3 months. Then if you want to scale across your full AI system, because you are not going to have only one AI system, you'll probably have multiple of them. So for scaling everything, probably you need to take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. So then you need to also think about the maturity level of that. So as I see that maturity is from starting from a pilot for a project, then scale it, then embed it. So when I say pilot, it means you start with 1 or 2 AI systems, then you scale it, like learn from those systems, and then you start scaling. Then you start embedding it into your governance workflows, performance reviews, board reporting, vendor contracts, and onboarding training. So you do it stage by stage. Number 7, what trustworthy AI means. Because when we create an AI, NIST AI RMF clearly mentions that it needs to be a trustworthy AI. So what does trustworthy AI means? So NIST defines 7 characteristics of trustworthy AI. So these are those 7 characteristics. Number 1, valid and reliable. So it needs to perform as intended under expected and adversarial risk conditions as well. Safe. It should be safe for people, organization, and also all the ecosystem. Number 3, secure and resilient. So any attacks, it should be resilient. Number 4, accountable and transparent. It should be clear and you know that the decisions are traceable to design and data. Number 5, explainable. So whenever any decisions are made, for example, a loan, home loan decision making AI algorithm, in that case, you should know how the decisions were made. That is explainability. So that also need to be done. Privacy enhanced. So personal data needs to be protected, and you needs to be fair with harmful bias managed. All that needs to be done. So these are the 7 characteristics. And then we are going to talk about 4 functions of NIST AI RMF on how to achieve these 7 characteristics. So next part number 8 is 4 core functions: govern, map, measure, and manage. So govern is actually an umbrella term. Map, measure, and manage operate under that. Govern actually is like an organization wide. It covers the culture, the policy, the accountability. How do you make AI decisions, from investment, from to even using all of that? That comes under govern, and it is organization wide. And map, measure, and manage, they all apply to each of the AI system. So map is like finding the context or what's the scope of the whole system that you're currently building. Even if you have multiple AI systems, even if you start off with 1 or 2 AI system, then you need to actually scope it first. Next is measuring. You test everything, you evaluate whether everything is mapped out correctly, you evaluate it probably using an internal auditor or an external auditor. Third is manage, which is if you found out any risk, you should know how to mitigate it. If you find out any bias, you know how to mitigate those bias. So any issues you found in the measure step needs to be managed using risk treatment, response, or incident plans. As I said, govern is for organization wide, and the last 3 applies to each of the AI system. So now let's see about what is govern. Like as I said, it's organization wide, right? So you write and maintain all the AI policy, risk policy, and AI use policy. Then accountability. Then number 3 is training. Training your engineers, lawyers, executives. You need to keep a track of all the training. Number 4, life cycle tracking. And if you have any inventory of AI systems, which particular life cycle is currently that particular AI system, are you currently building or it is currently deployed? You need to know the clear life cycle of that. Risk appetite, what level of risk, high or low or medium, you can categorize that. Then it's about the culture of the AI system itself, not just the principles, it's also about AI ethics. All of that are covered. And even for training of your organization, GAICC, Global AI Certification Council, we offer training for your engineers, lawyers, executive, and another operational staff. If you need information, please comment down below. One of our team members will contact you. So next is MAP. MAP, as I said, it applies to all the AI system. It creates the context of that AI that is being developed. So complete context, you need to know which particular audience are we catering it to, what are all the intended use of that particular AI system, what it is not supposed to do, and who are all the stakeholders who will be affected. Impact assessment, even if you remember, we talked about that in ISO 42001. Impact assessment is very important, which is done here. And you need to clearly know how it is deployed, how it is built. All that comes under mapping. So if this is done well, it prevents some of the most expensive mistakes by killing some of the high risk AI projects very early on. Next is measure. Again, same thing, it applies to each of the AI system. You measure all of those metrics that are under the whole system. So you test for accuracy, bias, drift. You all know about the model drift, which is like AI's accuracy decreases over time, robustness, security, all that we need to test. Not only that, we need to document all of that, and we need to set everything for monitoring, because the next step is that. And then you link it to all the trustworthy AI characteristics that we talked about. 7 characteristics, you need to link it. So that comes under measure. Next one is manage. So this is about, you've measured everything. This is about performance evaluation or improving the performance. So you find a way to treat all of that, mitigate all the bias, hallucination, drift, and incident response. If there are any incidents that have happened, how do we avoid that and mitigate that in the future? And even if you are decommissioning any of the AI systems, how do you make sure that it is decommissioned really well? So as you can see, there are 4: govern. So we'll go back quickly. So govern, map, measure, and manage. Okay. So then under these 4 core functions, there are 72 subcategories of actions under that. So if you see our Govern 365 tool, so we actually do the whole AI governance end to end, and we also do NIST AI RMF on our platform. So if you go to NIST AI RMF, you can see govern, map, measure, manage. You can do everything here. There are 72 subcategories. All of them can be managed here. If you click and open and see, then you can see, like, you can implement here, you can specify who is the owner, who is the reviewer, who is the approver, when is the due date, what is the auditor feedback. So all that you can upload here, and the evidence can also be uploaded here. And any notes you need to supply to the auditor or the reviewer can be uploaded here. Similarly, you can do it for all the different core functions. Let's go back. So, and also the 4 functions apply to all the things across the AI lifecycle, from planning the AI system to collecting data to building it, verifying, deploying, operating, and also retiring or decommissioning it. This particular NIST AI RMF framework applies. And as I told you before, govern works organization wide and govern operates continuously, and map, measure, and manage are reapplied at every lifecycle stage. Then this is a quick example of AI powered hiring system. I'm just going to quickly go through this so that you can understand an example. Number 1, if you're governing, that means your HR team needs to sign an AI use policy. Your legal team needs to review any bias risk. All the candidates are notified that an AI system is used, and you need to have a chief HR officer or someone, a HR lead, who needs to be accountable for that particular system. That all done under govern. Number 2 is mapping. So mapping, you already know, we need to specify the scope of the system. So the scope is US only resume screening, candidate population is broad. If there are any regulators, you need to know the implications of that, and they are documented. And you need to also mention, like, what are all the models used in this particular system. That all needs to be taken care. What are the intended use and what are not unintended use? You need to know we are using it for initial filtering only. We are not using it for other systems. You need to clearly mention what's the use case. Number 3, measure. Because the most you would have heard about this story from Amazon incident, that their AI started biasing towards women. So that was not intentional, but it can naturally happen. So you need to measure your system against the bias. Any false rejection that can happen, you need to make sure your system is not drifting and losing accuracy over time. And your system needs to explain how it made decision. All that comes under measure. Then manage. All shortlisted candidates receive a human review. That is something very important, because we still assume that AI can make errors and we need human oversight. And all the incidents need to be reported. Incident plan needs to be created within a very, very short period of time. So this is an example, and we can talk about that in extensive, like probably later. I can create another video about this in the next few weeks. So part 9, what has changed since 2023? Because the AI is changing, evolving much faster. So if you have a framework, that needs to evolve as well, right? So what has changed since 2023? So these are the 5 different publications that had happened for NIST AI RMF. Number 1, the first version was released, I already told you, in January 2023. At the same time, AI RMF playbook was also released, which is an implementation guide for each of the subcategories. Like we spoke about 72 subcategories. So that was an implementation guide for all those 72 subcategories and those 4 core functions. Then in July 2024, we got something called generative AI profile. There were like 12 different generative AI specific risk categories that was all released, because generative AI is all those things like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek, all those generative AI platforms. So that was released in July 2024. Then in December 2025, Cyber AI profile was released, which bridges between NIST AI RMF and NIST cybersecurity framework. So that was also released in December 2025. And in April 2026, critical infrastructure profile was released, that to cover food industry, education industry, like high risk industry. That was also covered. I'm going to talk about these things in the next few slides. So that is also covered. And in the 4th quarter of 2026, AI agent-based profile will also be released. That also I will talk about in the next few slides. And you need to understand that initially in Executive Order 14110, which was released during Joe Biden's time, it directed all the federal agencies to align with NIST AI RMF. But when the new president, Honorable Donald Trump, came into the power, he actually cancelled that particular executive order in January 2025. So this framework is currently voluntary but widely adopted and actively expanded by NIST. So NIST continuously publishes all these profile and overlays, and not only that, as I mentioned before, state laws also enforces federal agencies and state agencies to use NIST AI RMF. So we already spoke about NIST AI RMF. So the next one was generative AI profile. It included 12 different AI specific risk categories. So from CBR and information like chemical, biological, reactive, nuclear. So these are the 12 ones: confabulation, dangerous content, data privacy, environmental impacts, harmful bias, human AI configuration, information security, information integrity, IP, obscene content, value chain integration. And this particular profile is the most cited extension of NIST AI RMF. Then cyber AI profile, remember I said that it bridges between NIST CSF, Cyber Security Framework, and also NIST AI RMF, released in December 2025. It covers securing AI under adversarial attacks, model theft, data poisoning, and prompt injection. Then AI for defense, and also AI-enabled threats like deepfakes, AI-augmented phishing, autonomous agents. So this is mostly widely used, the securing AI, but AI for defense and AI-enabled threats are least used, underinvested, and NIST currently has released a report saying that most organizations should think about these two as well. Then next one is critical infrastructure profile, released in April 2026. So we need to cover in energy, food, water, defense, healthcare, comms, finance, and transport. These are some of the industries which has the highest consequence in whatever they do. So they created a specific update for that particular industry. Then The upcoming one is AI agent interoperability profile, which is when AI agents call another AI agent, who is accountable. So this particular profile will cover all of that. The main thing that it covers is when we actually created the first version 1.0 of NIST AI RMF, it only talks about the single AI system. So if it calls another AI system or another agent, it didn't cover that. So this particular one will cover and will be released in 2026, the end of 2026. So the last one is is NIST AI RMF enough to govern all the internal AI risk? Actually, it is not enough on its own to satisfy auditor, regulator, and customers who are asking for proof. So that's why we need other frameworks and regulation to go along with it. There are 3 frameworks that dominate AI governance today, which is EU AI Act, which is a law or a regulation, ISO 42001, and NIST AI RMF. These are the most important ones. So I'm going to quickly tell you the difference between these. So NIST, as you know, it's a voluntary one, but ISO 42001 is a certifiable standard, and which is also audited by external accredited bodies, but there is no audit or certification or external proof required for NIST RMF framework. So if your company, if your customers are asking for a proof of certification, then you have to go for ISO 42001. Otherwise, NIST AI RMF is more than enough. I have actually shared a full video of how NIST AI RMF compares with ISO 42001. So you can watch this video up here. That would be helpful for you as well. Then NIST AI RMF versus the EU AI Act. As I said, RMF is a framework, but EU AI Act is actually a regulation or a law which is applied to anyone who is selling their products or services in the European Union. So the fines are actually up to 35 million euros or 7% of the global annual turnover. So there are penalties, but NIST do not have any penalties. There is no legal force. It is voluntary only. So these frameworks are not substitutes of each other. They follow like a complementary stack. So if you have if you are doing any AI governance in your organization, probably start off with internal policies and decision, then make sure that you follow HIPAA, GDPR, ARPA, all those other equivalents. And in your country, if you're following any privacy acts, then follow all of that. Then if you're selling in the European Union markets, then follow EU AI Act. And if you're customers or your auditors are asking for any certifiable standard, then go for ISO 42001. And if you want only a risk-based risk management framework and methodology and you don't want to get certified, then NIST RMF. So it is not like one or the other, one replaces the other. You need to see what is important for your organization and what you want to achieve. How do you want to make sure that you comply with the laws and regulation? Choose accordingly. So following one framework is not enough. So you need to make sure, depending on what you want to achieve, choose different frameworks. Then quickly, I wanted to answer a few questions. Probably it was most helpful for you. First of all, is NIST RMF free? Yes, it is free. You have a framework, you have a playbook, and also different profiles I discussed. You can upload it, you can download it from this particular link. I will add that in the description section below. You can click and download from there as well. Is there a certification for NIST? There is no certification. NIST also does not issue any certificate. So if you want certificate, ISO 42001 is actually good. Next question is NIST RMF framework is mandatory? So it is voluntary, but mandatory through state laws like Colorado AI Act and Texas TRAIGA reference it as well. Are there any penalties? There are no penalties from NIST. You need to understand that NIST is a standards body. They are not an enforcement agency. So the enforcement actually comes from other authorities like FTC, EU regulators, or state attorney general, or customers. They only ask for it, but NIST doesn't do that. So next question is, do I need a tool to implement this? Actually, you do not need any tool. Even if you have a document and a proper guidelines and discipline, you do not need any tool. But platforms like Govern365.ai will accelerate the execution, because when you have a tool, you can collect the evidence faster, you can manage all the models faster, you can continuously monitor all of them. So it will help you to do everything faster. So if you take this, see, you can list all the AI systems here by clicking this AI project. You can directly go and list all of them. Then if you use any models, you can directly go ahead and create a new model and list here. Then risk register, if you are maintaining any of the risk, or even if you're mitigating any risk, you can maintain here. So all the evidences can be uploaded based you can create multiple folders and you can upload it. And even if you have external vendors, you can go ahead and create new vendors. And if you want to create policies, you can have multiple policies here as well. If you want to, if you came across any incidents, you can have all those incidents. So I know that you do not need a tool, but having a tool will have all these timestamps that you can easily do it much faster. Okay, so how do I start? So you can start off with one or two AI system, go through all those 4 core functions: govern, map, measure, and manage, and then you go to scale, or then you embed it in your workflows. Next is, does it cover open source and third-party models? Yes, it covers. As I said, there are different profiles that were created, so it covers all of that. So does it work with generative AI? Yes, we have a generative AI profile and it works with that. When was the framework last updated? The last update was December 2025 when they released that Cyber AI update. But the new one is coming in the last end of 2026 for AI agents. So it is keep getting updated. Next question that people ask is, does it work for small companies and startups? Yes, it works for all the small companies. Even with 5% or 2 people team can start off with that. Can this be applied to organization outside United States? Yes, it does. It is currently used in about 80 plus jurisdictions and translated to multiple languages. Do you need a dedicated team to do it? No, you do not need it. You need only an accountability owner, probably someone from risk compliance or security team can own it, and you can start working on that. What if your AI vendor do not have any framework? Remember that even if you purchase any AI system, or if you use any generative AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, not the vendor is responsible for anything. If you are deploying in your organization, you are responsible for that. So you need to do that very carefully. So how often should these AI systems be reviewed? You need to review it at least annually. Number 2, if you have any major model update, you need to review it. If you're changing vendors, you need to review it. And if you have any incidents, you need to review it. Next question is, a lot of people again think that, can one team take care of it? Especially, can legal team take care of all the policies and stuff? It's not. It is working together from AI engineers, AI architects, AI evaluators like auditors, AI governance professionals, board members, C-suite. Everyone has to work together, including the legal team. What if you already have an AI incident? That means you have to start working on this framework as soon as possible. So how do we demonstrate these programs to auditors? So you need to have AI inventory, just like I showed it on our tool. So you need to have AI inventory. Then you need to have a risk register. As I mentioned here, we have a risk register here. Then you need to have signed policies. As I mentioned here, you can go here and you can work on all these organization policies. You can sign them, training logs, incident reports, all that. So we created our Govern 365 tool to cover all of that. So you can easily show it to auditors. Does it integrate with existing GRC programs? Yes, it integrates with CSF, ISO 27001, SOC 2, GDPR. It integrates with all the GRC policies. And it covers, as I said, both AI RMF and also CSF, as I told you before. Does it address any shadow AI? Yes, the govern function under RMF, it covers shadow AI as well. For people who do not know what is shadow AI, it is the AI that is being used by your employees without telling your governance team. So this one I also talked about, does it apply if you only buy or never build it? So if you buy, or if you build, or if you only deploy external, you need to follow AI governance for sure. Who should own the program? So someone in your C-suite team should own it. It can be CISO, CIO, Chief Risk Officer, or your legal counsel, or Chief AI Officer, or Chief AI Governance Officer. Someone needs to own this. Okay. A lot of people ask, like, will there be an AI RMF 2.0? As of now, nothing is in place because they're currently updating their framework through extra profiles, overlays, and addendums. So they are not planning to do any 2.0 as of now. And what about if you are retiring any AI systems, what you should do? if you're decommissioning any AI system that are part of the manage function, so you have to document why you are decommissioning it and what any dependencies that exist, and you need to make sure you document and also decommission it appropriately. So is there any formal training and certification for this? Yes, we actually have our GAICC's CPAIG, which is Certified Professional in AI Governance. It covers NIST AI RMF, ISO 42001, and EU AI Act. If you want to take it, you can go to gaicc.org. Under certifications, you can see GAICC CPIG, which is Certified Professional in AI Governance. You can click here and then go to that particular page and look at what are all the domains that are covered under it. So you will receive a certificate when you finish it. It covers all of these EU AI Act, NIST, and global frameworks. So then, which laws actually reference NIST AI RMF? As of now, no federal laws in US does that. State laws actually do that. Okay. So that brings us to the end of it. So these are the 5 major takeaways that you need to know about NIST AI RMF. Thanks for staying until the end. I know it's very extensive, but it would have given you a very good understanding. Number 1, NIST AI RMF is voluntary framework. No federal laws, only state laws mandates it. Number 2, it has 4 core functions: govern, map, measure, and manage. It has 7 characteristics that talks about trustworthy AI: valid, safe, secure, accountable, explainable, privacy enhanced, and fair. And it is not a single framework. You need to do it with a stack of frameworks with EU AI Act and ISO 42001. Not only that, once RMF 1.0 was released, to extend all of that, they use Gen AI, Cyber AI, critical infrastructure, and we are also going to have AI agent profile also in the future. So your action plan for the next 30 days would be: week 1, write down all the inventory of AI and assign one person who is responsible for that. Week 2, authorize a AI use policy and AI risk policy and get it signed by the accountability owner. Week number 3, select one priority system and run it through govern, map, measure, and manage end to end. Week 4, brief all these things and evidences, everything, to your board team, and then move on to the next systems. As I mentioned, Govern 365 can be used for all the whole process from end to end. So these are some of the resources. I'm going to put down all the links in the comment section below. Please make use of it and it will be helpful for you. So if you have any questions, please write it down on the comment section in the bottom. And NIST AI RMF, start off with one system, go through all the 4 functions and repeat it across all the AI systems. And I'm sure this whole video was helpful for you. Please make sure you like the video so that I can create more videos like this, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.